What is up, guys? Private Eye Russ here. Welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Russ Show. I'm your host, Private Eye Russ, owner, operator, full-service private investigation consulting company. If you need a private investigator, problem-solving, personal coaching, links in the description below. Send me an email, and let's get straight into this. So this one is about marriage. I've got some other videos that I've recorded yet that haven't released yet, but this one is about marriage. I had a request for this video, so shout out to you. His question was, what are your thoughts on marriage? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be somewhat diplomatic, because if I just tell people what my actual, just straight out thoughts on marriage are, people are going to call me all types of stuff. Like I said before, I've been shadow banned on more than one occasion on X because people get upset. All right. So, it just is what it is. It's the world we live in. People don't want to hear what you have to say. And especially seemingly if it's helpful to men, right? So, but that's what we're here to do. We can also help women too if they want to listen, but in most cases they probably don't. And why should they? Right now they've got the advantage, so why should they want to change things? And I get it. So, what are my thoughts on marriage? That's a multifaceted question, but we're going to start with what this woman says about marriage, and we're going to react. All right, so fair use.
Marriage starts out great. Most don't stay that way. When the husband tries to talk to his wife about the issues in the marriage, she plays games, like the silent treatment or the runaround. This feels like a trap to him because she started out so cool and easygoing.
Okay, fact. Many men, and what she's getting or what she's alluding to is what we as men would call kind of the bait and switch. Okay, so you start out one way, but that the way they start out and the way they begin relationships is all designed to funnel you into that marriage, right? That dead end you're going to get to right there. That's a dead end. You're going to get caught in that corner there, and you sign a marriage contract with the state. You immediately give away so many of your rights. It's a change in your legal status, and people don't really realize. It's not about, lovey-dovey. If it was just about love, you'd have a marriage ceremony in a church that you can have conducted by anybody who's got a notary. They can marry you legally and lawfully. You don't need to go to a pastor, because I know a lot of these pastors with the new feminized Christian church is all about the marriage license because it automatically gives a woman an advantage. And so these are the systems you're dealing with. But bait and switch, she's going to behave one way and it's going to turn out another way, and you're going to be sitting there like, what happened? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see what she has to say.
She was open to suggestions and compromise. And guess what was spontaneous and frequent? Sex. Those are the things that made her seem like such a good catch. Well, what's the story now? For the majority of marriages, the woman has slowly rationed all those things to the point where many men are tortured and miserable.
Okay, fact. Many men, if we're honest, most men, you fall in love, although I think love is literally no more than just infatuation, lust, and attachment, but whatever, and attractiveness, which is going to fade. But so many men get married for a lot of reasons, but at the core of one of those reasons is continued access to fun bedroom activity. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And what happens is women will start to dial that back. And I've said this before, I will keep using this analogy because I love it, and I made up this analogy. So if anybody who copies it, just give me some credit, but don't let anybody take credit for this. Marriage, before you get married, in the roping in stage or the reeling in stage, when they reel you in, and this is exactly how women describe it. This is how you reel them in. So sex is going to be frequent and often. And so I compare it to Walmart. 24-hour Walmart Supercenter, open 24 hours a day. You can pretty much get what you want anytime you want it, and the store is always open, and the shelves are always stocked with every little bit you want. This is the time when you can be in a parking lot somewhere and decide to, do whatever you're going to do over the hood of a car or whatever it might be, at somebody's house, in their closet, whatever. You're going to have a whole bunch. Why? This is the stage where she wants to get you away from using this, okay? So when men get away from using logic, this is when they lose. And women understand that to get you to do something that's illogical, which is signing the marriage contract with the state, because it is a one-sided business deal that does not benefit you. Nobody thinking with the logical part of their brain would sign up for that. So they have to get you into that state of mind where you say, okay, I'm in love, I'm in lust, I'm getting this all the time. Yeah, man, she's just the greatest ever. This is when they're reeling you in. Anyway, let's keep going. But everything's going to dry up. So, sorry. The second phase of fun bedroom activity when it comes to marriage is after you get married. Now it turns into, and you fall into that regular schedule of marriage bliss, they call it, where you get into a regular schedule. Well, now it's no longer the Walmart superstore. It is now transformed into Publix or Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, whatever your chosen supermarket might be. You can't get as much, not nearly as much, and the hours have been restricted significantly, and you're just not going to have the same. But you'll make do because you're like, okay, it's not as good as it was, and this is how you kind of get drawn into this no sex marriage, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, it's not. I can kind of deal with this. It's not ideal. I don't like it, but I can live with it. Then the final stage is it goes from being Walmart Supercenter to Publix to a appointment only boutique where you can only get one or two items, specialty items, and the store's going to decide when it opens. And if you miss your window of opportunity, you've got to wait until that store decides to open. Who knows when it's going to do so. Usually that store is going to choose to open when you're least in the mood to want to go shopping, if you understand what I'm saying. So keep that in mind before you get married, thinking you're going to have fun bedroom activity all the time. You are not. Now, before I even go any further, there'll be someone to say, oh, mine is great. Okay, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Most people will not have that experience, okay? All right. And again, this is a generalization. Everybody's not going to experience this, but a lot of you will.
Why? Because he is no longer getting what he signed up for, even though he is still giving the same effort he always has. Basically, his marriage has been ruined by shrinkflation. Same price, but less quantity and or quality. Which brings us to why she doesn't want to talk. I mean, she has things just the way she wants them. Safety, security, comfort, and sex if she wants it. She's totally winning. So why would she talk to her husband about his relationship problems so he can negotiate for his needs? To a selfish woman like this, it means taking away the comfortable life.
Okay, fact. Why should they negotiate? They've got everything they want. They have all the leverage. And this is where the transfer of power takes place with the marriage contract. I'm not saying you can't be with somebody forever if that's what you want to do. You don't need a marriage contract to love somebody or to be with somebody long term. The marriage contract is so you give the state authority and dominion over your goods, your money, your home, and your children. The state never does anything well. Most states screw, and I'm talking about governments. Most governments ruin everything they do. They're able to power through it because, by virtue of our tax dollars, and they can just keep taxing us. But most of them would fail if they were a business. So as soon as you sign that marriage contract, you buy a house, all the rest, she knows she has all the leverage in the marriage now. Excuse me. Previously, you had the leverage. You know what I mean? Now you have none. And so if you want to see a woman's true colors, give her an advantage over you or give her leverage over you, you will see exactly what she's made of. All right, most women will not be kind or benevolent. They will be ruthless and uncompromising. So let's keep going. Fair use.
She's built for herself. That's never going to happen without a fight. Now we see why she avoids any conversations about the marriage. She only cares about herself. I know this sounds harsh, but the reality is much worse. And all the people say, amen. She has a little queendom that meets all her needs with a loyal subject who is willing to do anything to make her happy. So to her, everything is great.
Fact. Why shouldn't we just talked about that? Why should she want to change? She shouldn't. And so for men, don't give up your sovereignty. As soon as you sign that contract with the state, you are no longer a free man. I know people will think that sounds a little bit extreme, but if you look at the laws the way they are, okay? So let's talk about marriage and compare it to a business or business venture, all right? So if you had a business venture where you were supplying the vast majority of the material, you were putting in the vast majority of the work, you were providing security and safety for everybody involved in the business, and in return, the other person just kind of had to be there, Not saying all women do that. There are some women who contribute. Okay, so before you start yelling and screaming at me, I know this is not I'm making a generalization, but most guys will have this experience. Okay, and she doesn't have to do anything, and then she can decide to. Your business partner can decide to dissolve the business whenever they feel like it, just because they feel like it, they're not happy, or Steve from accounting at work has been giving them more and more attention, or whatever the case might be. So you've got to be really, really careful, and you have to understand that you are not putting yourself in a position to win. You're putting yourself in a position to lose, or you spend your life kind of tiptoeing around and dodging around her anger, making sure you don't tick her off. That doesn't sound like life to me.
How does she keep it this way? She took their time together to learn how to control him. So when he tries to talk to her about things, she uses those tricks to get him away from his topic. For instance, when he brings up something, she cries, so he feels guilty for hurting her. She gets angry, so he tries to calm her down. She gets passive aggressive, so he gets frustrated. She brings up something he did years ago, so he starts defending himself.
So, fact, and this is that like they use the same playbook over and over again because it is so effective. It has been effective for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. So, what do I think about marriage? This is, in a nutshell, what I think about marriage. I think it is, in general, a bad idea. I think if you want to live with a woman, fine. If you want to enter some sort of domestic partnership, fine, without having any legal contracts that bind you with the state. That's what you have to avoid. You want to live with a woman? That's up to you. I don't really recommend it, especially if you're a single dude who's up and coming. But I get it. Some of you guys, that's what you want. Okay, fine. But you have to protect yourself. And we're going to talk further about how to protect yourself, how to protect your assets, how to protect your peace of mind. You got to stay tuned, though, to do so. But yeah, marriage in general, as the way it's configured today, modern marriage is just, especially when you put modern marriage with modern women with this really entitled attitude. And why shouldn't they have this entitled attitude? They get everything they want, in so many different ways. So of course they feel entitled, and almost to the point of, well, actually to the point of arrogance. So don't sign a contract with the state unless the state laws change. Some of them are starting to change. Like in Kentucky, they made the default custody 50-50. So now women aren't getting child support. So guess what happened to the rate of divorce? It has plummeted in Kentucky. And so that should give you kind of a, not even a clue, but an indication, a very strong indication of why divorces are launched in the first place. There'll be, all these different, subjects like, oh, I don't feel happy, we outgrew each other, and all the rest of this nonsense. But at the end of the day, it's the financial incentive, if people are honest. Most people are not going to be honest, but it's the financial incentive. Anyway, this has been another video from Private Eye Russ. Please like, subscribe, share, especially subscribe, share, like, do all those different things, but get in the comments section below. This was a requested video. I've got some others that I've done that I'll be releasing in the coming days. But if you guys want to learn about something, you want to hear my thoughts on different subjects, I'm not saying I know everything, but I know a lot. I've been on this earth for a while, and I've experienced a lot, and I've had a kind of an exponential experience just because I get to deal with so many bad situations that people have. I've helped people out of horrible situations, whether people have been blackmailed, extorted. I've had to deal with people that were held against their will here stateside. So many different things besides the divorces, besides cheating, besides all the fraud I've had to deal with for people. I help people solve their problems, and I help them get through some of the worst moments of their life. Consequently, as a consequence of that, I've learned a lot about human nature and about how to solve problems, but also, too, more importantly, how to avoid those problems in the first place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to advise you guys based on the way I would advise a client who wants a threat assessment. Some of you know that I've done a lot of executive protection work, done a lot of private security detail work overseas in some of the worst places on the planet, what we call non-permissive environments. That's where like everybody's trying to kill you and death is around every corner. But in your life as a man, I'm going to start trying to advise you guys how to keep yourselves safe and how to protect yourself and help you navigate through this increasingly hostile world, so that you can teach your kids, your sons especially, and even your daughters, and you can make your lives better. So anyway, like, subscribe, share. This has been another Private Eye Russ, not podcast, but show. There's going to be a different thing that's going to be a podcast, so we'll talk about that another time. But I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.